Xiaomi is known for their budget phones, and sometimes it shows a little, like with the Xiaomi Mi 5. But the Xiaomi Mi 6? Now that's a different story. Today I'm giving my first impressions about the Xiaomi Mi 6. This review is sponsored by Banggood.com. If you are interested in this device, I will place the link in the description and the top of the comments. So to begin with my first impressions, let's talk about design. Well, it looks stunning, there's no other word for it. I love the four-cornered glass back. Sure, it makes it slippery, but I always put a clear case cover on it, so it really doesn't bother me that much. The phone really looks and feels like a solid device, and it feels great in the hand. And it helps that it's just a 5.15-inch screen. It's easy to reach everything, albeit that being used to a bigger screen makes it a bit harder to type fast. And at the bottom we find a USB-C port, but if we look around the phone we don't actually have a headphone jack. A trend that I will never get. There is no real gain, but there's a big loss to not having it. You are basically shooting yourself in the foot by removing it because a lot of people still want and need it. If I have something that I dislike about the design itself, it's the camera placement. Simply because my natural way of holding a phone makes it that from time to time I place my finger in front of the camera itself. And while we're talking about the camera, it has a dual camera setup. It has two 12-megapixel cameras with one telephoto lens allowing you to have a 2x optical zoom. The main camera has optical image stabilization for those smoother shots, but it isn't on the level like Samsung or Sony Xperia XC Premium, but it does a decent job. The pictures that come out of the phone are very nice. It captures the details I want and it looks realistic. There is not too much saturation, which I honestly prefer when I take a picture. I take it because I like the look of it, because of how I see it. And so I wanted to capture how I see it, maybe just a bit more saturation. Sometimes though it has a little problem with light coming in and having a bit too much glare on the side. Now while it has a good dynamic range, it does tend to somewhat have too much shadow at the back, as you can see when I compare it to the Sony Xperia XC Premium. That one just managed to capture a bit more details. So let's have a quick look at the specs itself. The Xiaomi Mi 6 has a Snapdragon 835, 6GB of RAM and 64GB of internal memory, which you cannot expand via microSD. It does feature dual SIM though. It has a 3350 mAh battery that so far is easily lasting me through the day, although I would expect it to last a bit longer with a smaller Full HD screen. Overall, with the Snapdragon 835 we have a very smooth system. There are no lags and it basically runs everything that I throw at it without any problem. It is one of the smoothest phones I used to date. Now of course a full review of the phone will come soon, so be sure to stay tuned for that. And be sure to subscribe to my channel for more reviews and of course concepts. Have a good one.